Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and sports topics related. I am your host, Bronco Bill. Guys, I have a very special announcement regarding this show on Fridays, but I'm not going to tell you what it is now. You got to wait to the end of the show. All right? But I'm pretty sure you guys will like it. So stay tuned. I appreciate it. All right. Let's get into the first segment of the show. NFL and the NFLPA. That's the National Football League Player Association. The NFL and Players Association have agreed to adopt the Tua concussion protocol. Now, if you guys remember, you saw that hideous, he took a shot to his head. He claimed it was his back. He got up, he staggered around, didn't really know where he was. He went into the protocol tent, but they let him out and he played the rest of the game. And he wasn't right. There was nothing right about that. He definitely had a concussion. But here's the step further that they're going. And this is not just because of, this is because of Tua. That was pretty bad. But it's also because of the fact that their concussions have been on the rise. And this whole CTE that goes on in a player's head from too many concussions and too many shots to the head, whether it be a sack or a hard tackle, or you hit the head on the shoulder pad or knee or whatever. When you sustain a concussion, what happens is your brain gets kind of scrambled. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. I'm just going by what I've heard. And it does something to the brain. So here it is. The protocol has included the term ataxia, which is defined as abnormality of balance and stability, motor condition, or dysfunctional speech caused by a neurological issue. There you go. And that's exactly what Tua had. He was staggering around. His speech was probably a little bit, disoriented or whatever, confused. He had lost some balance. He went down to a knee, couldn't get up, except, some of his players helped him up. Other than that, and they let him back in? Seriously. Maybe he did, I should say, recover to a certain degree, of quote functionality, but he wasn't 100%. And I know these guys are pro athletes, and I know they want to be in the game, and I know that they want to do what they can to get back in the game and help their team. But if you're injured, and I'll get to another one regarding the injury going back in, but if you're injured, even if you're 80%, 85%, doesn't matter. If you're injured and you've got a quarterback on the bench that's 100%, you mean to tell me that you're going to be better at 80% or 85% than the backup? And if that's the case, then you don't have a reliable, solid backup. And Tua should never gone in. They had Teddy Bridgewater. Well, he's semi-injured now, but they had Teddy Bridgewater available. They could have put him in. Nope. Tua goes back in, and that was a mistake because now Tua's out. He's on concussion protocol, and he should have been during that game. There may be repercussions coming down, I don't know, regarding the persons that let him back in, but then maybe not because they didn't have this in their agreement. And once again, let me read this to you. It's called ataxia, ATAXIA, which is defined as abnormality of balance or stability or stability, motor coordination, or dysfunctional speech caused by a neurological issue. That's exactly what he had. That's called a concussion, a major concussion. And concussions can be very serious and deadly. You can die from a concussion if it's hit hard enough, I would imagine. It's just sad that it came to this. to where they had to wait until a guy like Tua was, on the field and people got to see that reaction. I mean, he's on the field, his hands are like this and he's shaking. Or was that somebody? That might have been somebody else, but I thought it was, and he was like this shaking. And you're like, what the heck? And you know it's a concussion, it's a head trauma. I'm just glad they're finally doing something. They need to do something. But they also don't need to put, flags on these guys and turn it in from, tackle football to flag football. I don't want to see that either, because then it's not the NFL as we know it. And in a lot of ways, the NFL isn't the way we knew the NFL back in the day. I mean, back in the day, they were slamming quarterbacks to the ground. And sure, that was violent, and that was over excessive and aggressive. I understand that. And I do like the way that the NFL is trying to make the game safer. I just don't want them to put flags on these guys and call it the National Football League. All right, let's go to Javonte Williams. We finally got some, well, maybe I shouldn't say it quite that harsh. Not harsh, but quite that forward. Let's just say we got some good news regarding Javonte Williams. It's not great news in the overall scheme of things, the fact that he's torn his ACL and LCL, but there is a silver lining around this dark cloud, and here it is. Finally, some good news on the injury front for the Broncos. Javonte Williams did not suffer nerve or cartilage damage to his knee. That is great news on the running back's road to recovery. That said, it's still a long road back, and there isn't any guarantee that he'll be ready for game 1 of the 2023 season. Well, we knew that, guys. We knew it, that when you tear your ACL, that's bad enough. Just go back to Terrell Davis. He never was the same. Excuse me. He couldn't plant like he did and cut like he did. Yeah, sure. Some people come back and their ACL is a lot stronger than it was when they didn't tear it. That's not for everybody. And I'm not wishing anybody to tear their ACL just to see if they can come back stronger. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you tear an ACL, everybody heals differently. Everybody's play on the field is different. A running back cuts a lot more than, let's say, a quarterback, or maybe a lineman. I know they cut too, but when you're a running back, you're trying to hit the hole and you're running full speed and you're planting and you're trying to make that cut. And that's usually where you tear your ACL. I'm not sure how you tear your LCL, but he also managed to do that as well. The reason why I say it's good news is because if he would have torn his cartilage or his cartilage or nerve, if he had torn those, he's done. He's absolutely done, because you can't feel. When you tear your nerve, you can't feel. You have a constant burn, a constant irritation that doesn't go away. I'm not comparing myself directly to what Javonte Williams suffered, but I did tear my tendon in my right elbow and I have nerve damage. And yes, at times it flares up and it just burns. My fingers go numb, and it's just something I got to live with. In Javonte Williams' situation, he didn't tear a nerve or damage a cartilage. So that's good news on that front. Not so sure, though, that coming back from an LCL and an ACL, that he'll ever be the same. I wish him all the best. I hope he comes back. I want him back on the Broncos, but only if he can, produce even at the level he was at. Not sure that'll ever happen again. And if it doesn't, what a shame, because he was only in his second year and he had promise written all over him. Wow. Speedy recovery, Javonte. I wish you all the best. All right, let's go to Derek Wolfe. Now, this is interesting, and I would have to totally agree with what he's saying. Now, when Derek Wolfe says something, he knows something. He played the game. He knows what he's talking about. So here it is. When the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson this offseason, there was plenty of optimism in Broncos country. I totally agree. And I was super optimistic. Hold on. After 5 games, former defensive lineman Derek Wolfe feels like he was catfished. Not quite sure what that means, but Derek Wolfe means something by it, that's for sure. I go back. Derek Wolfe feels like he was catfished by the offseason hype. Things are getting ugly. That's what he's saying. Things are getting ugly. Talk about a letdown. Here it is. There's still time to turn things around, but as Derek Wolfe noted, things aren't looking good. No, they're not. They're not looking good. But then on the flip side, if you really look at the bigger picture, and I'm gonna try and, you know, I'm always straightforward with you guys. I'm always honest and I'm always straightforward. Even though I bring my own comments, and even though I bring my own thoughts and interject my own feelings, I'm still bringing it real and true about the article when I give it to you. Here's the thing. The Broncos lost to Seattle by 1 point. Okay? Then they go and they play, who would they play second after? They played San Francisco, and we beat them. Okay? So we were 1-1. Then we played, who did we play after San Francisco? Dang, I'm sorry, I don't have it down. But I know we won that game. Oh, Houston, and we won that game. So now we're 2-1. Remember, Seattle, we lost by 1 point. Okay? Then we go and play the Raiders. All right, you know, we lost that Raider game handily, 32-23. So even though we had a chance in that game, there was a costly mistake that caused the game. That was a fumble return for a touchdown. Yeah, we could have won that game possibly. I'll take that as a loss, okay? Go back to Seattle, remember? 1 point. Then we played the Colts. And it was a field goal game. That's all it was. We could have won that game. Realistically, guys, we could be 4-1, but we're not. We're 2-3. But we could be 4-1. And I'll get to that towards the end of the show about why it's important that I say we could be 4-1. And so do I agree with Derek Wolfe? To a certain degree, absolutely. Because the hype hasn't been lived up to. Russell Wilson hasn't lived up to his expectations, our expectations. Nathaniel Hackett has made a mess of play calling, especially in the first couple of games. He's getting a little better, but we still have way too many penalties. The play calling is really not all that good. We're making bad decisions on the field with wide open receivers. And yes, I know Russell Wilson is injured. We'll get to that, coming up as well. But all things considered, yes, Derek Wolfe is right. To a certain degree, he's right. Because we haven't seen that hype. Or excuse me, we haven't seen the results of that hype. And the fan base of Broncos country is not going to stand for it for very much longer. Why? Well, twofold. One, because the Broncos are on a 6-year skid. We haven't had a winning season. I believe maybe we've had one. I don't believe so. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was 9-7. I don't think so, but that's beside the point. Even if it's one, we haven't gone to the playoffs. Playoffs. Talk about playoffs. Yeah, no, I'm not talking playoffs. Because at this point, I don't think we're going there. But we do need to make improvement. We do need to make adjustments, and we do need to get better. So the hype was there. We all bought into it. At least I know I did. I was ecstatic. But if I would have known then what I know now, I don't think I'd have been all that excited. Do I think Wilson's going to turn around? Sure hope so. Do I think Nathaniel Hackett can be a better head coach? Sure hope so. But at this point in time, I think Derek Wolfe pretty much nailed it. Kind of all of us, or at least the majority of us, Bronco fans, feel like we got catfished. All right, speaking of Russell Wilson, let's get right to it. Russell Wilson's injury. Russell Wilson received an injection for his slightly torn throwing shoulder. It's his lat. That's what it was. It's his lat. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the muscle. I understand it's a muscle that goes like from here underneath your arm all the way down your back to almost your side. I mean, almost your waist, and back to about the middle of your back. That's what's partially torn, but it's torn up in his shoulder, right up in here. So when he's throwing, it's much like when you're a pitcher, and you're throwing that hard, that many times in a game, something's going to give, or possibly could give. In this case, I don't know if it was hurt when he was throwing the ball or when he got. They say it happened in the Oakland, or excuse me, the Vegas game. It could have been on a sack. You can tear it there, or you can tear it when you're throwing it. A lot of different ways that you could put strain on that muscle. Okay, I go back, and he got that injection last Friday. Okay, so a week ago. That injury could be the reason for his poor play. Okay, now, if that's the reason for his poor play, let's go back to the Colts game, right? It's a field goal game. Broncos couldn't score a touchdown if their life depended on it. And they didn't score a touchdown, and neither did the Colts. So why was Russell Wilson playing in that game? Should that have not gone to Rippon? I mean, if Rippon is in there, isn't he a better matchup than an injured Wilson? You saw some of the throws he made. Some of them weren't even close to the receiver. One of them was over KJ Hamler's head by at least 10 yards and intercepted. Another one was throwing the double coverage in the end zone when Hamler's wide open and could have walked in. That was intercepted. So there's many reasons why Wilson should not have been in that game. My question is this, guys. This is my question. Who is the head coach of this team? Is it Hackett or is it Wilson? Who has control of that locker room? Because I'll tell you right now, if that was Mike Shanahan or Gary Kubiak, because we all saw how pissed off Peyton Manning got when he was pulled from that game and was benched basically for, I think it was 2 or 3 games, and Osweiler came in and saved the day because Osweiler hadn't won those games. We don't go to the Super Bowl that year and win it. And the reason why? It's because we would have had to travel to New England, and I don't think we would have won that game. But going back to the present, if Wilson is running the show and he tells Hackett, hey, I'm fine, I'm going in, I can do this, I want to do this, this is my gig, this is my show, I'm going to ride, let's ride. Well, yeah, you rode all right. You rode all the way to 9 points. And you rode to another loss. It's not working, Russell. It's not working. Nathaniel Hackett, if he's not running the show and he's not being the head coach he needs to be, somebody needs to grab a hold of him. Grab a hold of him and say, listen, you tell Russell Wilson he needs to sit down. Well, that window is closed, guys, because I don't know if you I don't know if you sit Russell Wilson down against the Chargers and put in Rippon. But then again, why not? What do you got to lose? If Russell Wilson goes in and he's not 100%, and I say that in quotes because I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. I've heard that an injury like this takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to heal when you're not playing a game and you're resting. He's not resting. Yeah, he got an injection. What's that going to do? Numb him for a while? He doesn't feel the pain? Oh, so maybe it tears more. So now he's out the rest of the season. Oh, that's a good move. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this at all. Nathaniel Hackett needs to look Russell Wilson in the eye and say, dude, you are injured. You're not 100%, and I know how bad you want to be in this game, and I know how bad you want to play, but you're not going to be any good to us if you're going to be more injured and can't play the rest of the season. So I'm sitting you down, and I'm putting in Rippon to start the game against the Chargers. He should have said that last Thursday. not yesterday, but a week ago. Should have said that the Thursday game against the Colts. Should have looked at Russell Wilson and said, you're not going in. And if Wilson would have screamed and kicked and hollered and done everything like Peyton Manning did, well, I don't think Peyton Manning screamed and hollered, but he didn't like it. Oh, well, you're not the head coach. And I dare say that anybody else in a regular job wouldn't go up to their boss and say, hey, I can do it. And then get more hurt. In fact, workman's comp protects a person or protects an employer as well as a person from going back in and getting injured or more injured. And now you're out longer. They won't put you back unless you're 100%. I know, I was on workman's comp. They will not put you back in, even if you want to, because you're not 100% clear. Now, I understand that a regular workforce is different because, you got workman's comp behind you and they're going to keep you out. In the NFL, their main job is to get you in the game, not to keep you out. Their main job is to get you back in. So I don't really think they have the best interest in the player a lot of the times. I'm not saying that the Broncos medical staff isn't putting Russell Wilson's best interest, but I just know that their main job is to get the player back in the game, period. But my thing is this. Nathaniel Hackett needs to take control of this team. He needs to be the head coach. He needs to go to Russell Wilson and say, listen, you're sitting. I'm putting in ripping. You need to rest your shoulder. You need to heal this thing up because our schedule does not get easier, guys. We have to face the Chargers on Monday night. We have to face the Raiders one more time, the Chargers one more time, and the Chiefs twice. And that's not to mention we also got the Baltimore Ravens, in case anybody forgot. Sure, we got the Jets. But, Jets can beat us. Colts beat us. Why can't the Jets? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that's what Derek Wolfe was talking about in a roundabout way. Yeah, exactly. So if his injury is that severe that he has to go get, an injection, it's not good, guys. Let me continue. It might be best, and this is what I said, it might be best for the Broncos to shut down Wilson so he can come back at full strength. That's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Wilson, here it is. And this is where I think Wilson's running the show and not Hackett. Wilson intends to play Monday night against the Chargers in prime time. There you go. So, who's running the show? Russell Wilson? Seems like it. Sure does seem like it. Because I'll tell you what, like I mentioned earlier, if Gary Kubiak was a head coach, Russell Wilson would not have played in the Colts game. And he probably wouldn't be playing in the Charger game. Maybe Kubiak should call up Nathaniel Hackett and say, hey, this is what you got to do. Take my word. This is what you got to do. All right, I move on. Let's go to Walter Brister. Oh, wait a minute. That last name sounds familiar. Brister. Yeah. Aha. Hold on. Who is Walter Brister? He is the son of Bobby Brister, former Denver Broncos quarterback. Walter Brister, 21, was arrested in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for a hit and run that killed Jude Giroux, who was trying to walk across the street. Brister drove away. Not supposed to do that. Brister drove away before police got to the scene and found Giroux deceased. Brister. Walter Brister, what are you doing? Oh, wait a minute. Was he intoxicated? Was he looking at a cell phone? Don't know. Doesn't say. But if you hit somebody and you drive away, oh yeah, you'll get arrested. Oh boy, you'll get arrested. You betcha. Because that's a felony. It's a felony to leave somebody that you have hit, killed, injured, whatever. You cannot leave the scene. Same as if you hit somebody in a car. Well, not somebody, but I mean, if you hit another car. Same thing. You can't just take off. That's a hit and run. You have to be responsible. Remember, guys, driving a vehicle is a privilege. It's not a right. Therefore, you have to obey by the privilege rules. It's not a right. You can't just go hit somebody and go, see ya. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll look out. I'll look out next time. I promise. No, you can't do that. You have to stay with that person you hit. You have to call the police, notify them what happened. They will do their investigation. Same as if you hit somebody to, hit another car. If it's serious, yeah, you're going to get the police and the ambulance and all that. If it's just a fender bender, well, then you just do what you got to do and go on. But you don't leave, especially if you hit a person. Yeah. I didn't make him the jackass of the week because I have one better than that, possibly. But that was a jackass move for sure. An absolute jackass move. And I mean, you can lose your license over that. You can lose a lot of things over that. You just don't leave the scene of an accident. Period. End of discussion. You just don't do it. Woo. Walter Brister's in some hot water, that's all I can say. All right, now we're going to go to, that's right, the jackass of the week. All right, guys, here it is. The jackass of the week. What team do you think he comes from? Put it that way. Think he comes from a team like, I don't know. Let's pick a team that's, you wouldn't think something like that would happen. I don't know. Let's see. Cincinnati Bengals, Miami Dolphins. I don't know. Maybe the Chargers, the Broncos. Nope. But it's in that division. That's right, guys. Javonte Adams of the Vegas Raiders. Wide receiver Javonte Adams walking off the field after the Raiders lost to the Chiefs 30-29 last Monday night, decided to take his frustration out on a photographer that was pushed hard to the ground. Yeah, okay, let me set the scene for you, okay, guys? Let me set the scene. So, here's what happened. The Raiders lose the game 30-29 in Kansas City. Javonte Adams is pissed off that they lost. He's walking towards the locker room, and this photographer is, 2 or 3 feet from him, and he goes in front of him to get to the other side because it was apparently crowded where he was, and he wanted to get to a more open space. So he goes in front of Javonte Adams. What would a normal person do? A normal person would stop, say, go ahead, or go around him, or whatever the case may be. Since he's going in front of him, and instead of doing that, he does this, boom, and pushes him. And the guy goes flying backwards. Camera goes, it's on a mono stick. Camera's on a mono stick, and it goes flying backwards, hits the ground. I don't know if he hit his head or not, but he sure hit the ground hard. And Javonte Adams, do you think he reached down to help him and pick him up? Yeah, right. Sure. No, not a chance. Walks on by, looks down at him like this, and walks on by. Keeps going. Doesn't offer a hand, doesn't do anything. Oh, and then he has an apology, which I'll get to in a minute. Oh, this is good. This is really good. Yeah, right. So a normal person, would stop. Go ahead. And then walk around. I don't care how ticked off you are that you lost the game. It's a game, dude. I know you get paid lots of money to play the game, but you got 10 other guys on the field that didn't get it done either. I didn't see them push anybody or hear about them pushing anybody or slugging anybody and walking away. I didn't hear that. So I guess Javonte Adams, you're it's okay, because you're Javonte Adams, you can do it. No, you can't. No, you can't. But here's the good part. Here's the good part. We'll get to it right now. Okay. The photographer has filed a lawsuit against Adams. Good for him. Good for him. He should. Absolutely he should. He didn't do anything wrong. Oh, it's wrong to walk in front of somebody 2 or 3 feet in front of you? That's wrong? Apparently it is if you're Javonte Adams and you walk in front of him, because he'll just push you down. Because he's Javonte Adams. I continue. Also, Adams is facing misdemeanor assault. What? Misdemeanor? Come on, man. Misdemeanor? He did it on purpose. And I know misdemeanor means, minor, wasn't that serious. Well, I don't know. I'm not the guy who hit the ground. I don't know if he had medical treatment. I don't know if he got a concussion. I don't know if his camera was broken, damaged. I don't know if now his livelihood of taking video or pictures of the NFL is on hold now. I don't know. Misdemeanor? I continue. Facing misdemeanor assault and possible fines and suspension from the NFL. Good. He should. Absolutely he should. If you do that to somebody on the football field, you hit them or you whatever, you're going to get fined and you could get suspended. This wasn't a football player. He didn't have any padding on him. He had a little vest that said NFL properties or something of that nature. He's got a camera. He doesn't have a helmet. Doesn't have shoulder pads. Doesn't have knee pads. And that ground is hard. And when you're not expecting it, you're not, oh, holy cow, man, you're just caught off guard. And if you guys haven't seen the video, go in to YouTube and watch that video. It's a blatant push on purpose. Like, get out of my way, guy. Don't you know I'm Javonte Adams? I don't care who you are. You don't do that. I continue. Adams apologized. And here it is, guys. Adams apologized, saying, and I quote, "I bumped into him." What? When you bump into somebody, it's kind of like this, like, "Oh, sorry, guy, I didn't mean to bump into you." That's what you do. When you bump, that was a bump. No, he did not bump into him. He pushed him. Go watch the video. I wish I had it. I'd put it up here. And he goes, "Well, I guess I kind of pushed him." Kind of? Javonte, are you not living in reality? Do you not know what the truth is? Obviously not. Because first off, you say, and I quote, "I bumped into him. I guess I kind of pushed him. And I think he ended up on the ground." You think? You looked right down at him. You're really out there, aren't you? You don't believe a single thing that you even see with your eyes or that you do with your hands. So let me go back. Guys walked in about 2-3 feet in front, and Javonte goes, boom. Does that look like he kind of bumped into him? Nope. And then he goes on and says, "Well, I guess I kind of pushed him." Kind of? No, you didn't kind of push him. You really pushed him. And then he goes, I think he ended up on the ground. Man, there's some real winners out there in the NFL. There really are some real winners. And I'm not talking about winning football games. I'm being sarcastic when I say there's real winners. I mean, these guys, this is Darwin's Law, I guess. Holy smokes, man. How do you do that? And then not even take responsibility and come out and go, "Yeah, you know what? That was a mistake. I shouldn't have pushed him. I should have just gone around him, blah, blah, blah." He may say that now because nobody's believing this stuff. I can guarantee you that. I'm not. Because I saw the video. There's no way he bumped into him and no way he kind of pushed him. And I think he landed on the ground. Yeah, I saw all 3 of those, Javonte, and you did not do what you said you did. It was a forcible push. The guy landed on the ground, possibly hurt, possibly camera damaged. and you just walked on and didn't even bat an eye. Yep. You're the jackass of the week, and I hope you're fined, and I hope you're suspended, because this kind of stuff is not allowed or should not be allowed in the NFL or society, period. Plain and simple. Javonte, grow up. All right. Speaking of jackass of the week, I guess I could have made this one too. This one is a little perplexing because, I mean, okay, if you watched the game last night on the Thursday night game of the week on Amazon Prime, they mentioned this before the game, but I had already read up on it and got my notes for this. So I'm going to take it on this side, and then I'll bring some of what they said in. Here it is. Daniel Snyder. Have you ever wondered, after years of scandal and allegations and investigations by everyone from Congress to the NFL, that Daniel Snyder is still team owner of the Washington Commanders? Sure, everybody still wondered. How in heaven's name is he getting away with all of this stuff? Is he buying somebody off? Is he in the back pocket of Roger Goodell? Is he feeding him money? Is he doing all kinds of things and favors and whatnot so he stays as owner of the Commanders? Not so fast. ESPN report may have the answer. Here it is. ESPN's Seth Wilkersham and Tisha Thompson reported that Snyder told an associate he has enough secrets to blow up, hang on guys, to blow up several NFL team owners, as well as league office and NFL commissioner Roger Goodell. Whoa. What kind of secrets does he have? And no wonder Roger Goodell hasn't forced this and pushed this, if this is true. Now, I got this from ESPN, and like I said, from Beth Wilkersham and Tisha Thompson. They also mentioned it last night, like I said earlier before I'd start the segment. They also brought this to the attention of the viewers. So it has to have some substance. It has to have some ground. If that's the case, what kind of secrets does he have, and on who or whom or owners? Roger Goodell was named, but none of the owners were. Are there some of the owners out there? Because I think it's 24 out of 32, I believe, that have to vote yes, and then they oust him as the owner. Maybe some of those guys that or owners that he has secrets on don't want to say yes, because they don't want to be exposed. They don't want to have to leave their organization and their income and their finance and their luxury. Makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Again, who's running, like I said about the Broncos? Who's running the Broncos? Hackett or Wilson? Well, who's running the NFL? Goodell or Snyder? Yeah, I continue. Let's see. These were reiterated by former Commanders executives and other anonymous sources. Wow, guys. Wow. That's huge. That is huge. I mean, does he have information on the owner Spanos of the Chargers? Possibly. I wonder if he has anything on, let's say, I don't know, the Cleveland Browns owner, or the owner of, or the owner of the Patriots. Oh, Robert Kraft, huh? Could have some things on him. I don't know. I'm speculating. But it's interesting that that came out, and yet Daniel Snyder has had all these investigations. It's serious investigations, ongoing investigations. And he's like Teflon. It just rolls off his back. And he continues to hobnob with the owners. Now we know why. Or at least we have an insight as to why. Very, very interesting. All right, guys. I go to the very last segment of the show. And here it is. Broncos at Chargers Monday Night Football. Here it is. The Denver Broncos will limp into SoFi Stadium with a 2-game losing streak. A banged-up Russell Wilson, I'll elaborate on that some more, and injuries that seem to sideline key players almost every week. That's very true, guys. Very, very true. Some good news is that Justin Simmons will be playing after coming off of IR. That's great news because we need Justin Simmons back there in the secondary. Being that safety, that shutdown safety, since we have Patrick Surtain on the shutdown corner. So it's great to have Simmons back. That'll be great. Now, going back to Russell Wilson, if he's banged up, he should not play in this game. You know doggone well that the Chargers know he's hurt. They know he flew to LA last Friday after Thursday's game to get that injection. They know all about that. Absolutely, they know all about that. But they're not taking the Broncos lightly. I read earlier that the Chargers coaching staff is saying, hey, Broncos may be 2-3. But they said they could be 5-0. I said, no, they could be 4-1 because the Raiders, we were close, but we ultimately lost the game by 9. Anyways, so they're not taking the Broncos lightly. So if they're not taking the Broncos lightly, at least that's what they're saying. And I have to believe it. You don't want to take anybody lightly, no matter who you're playing. But you can take the Broncos a little bit more lightly if you have a banged up Russell Wilson. Because you know he hasn't been able to throw correctly. He's overshooting receivers. He's underthrowing receivers. He's throwing interceptions, not getting touchdowns. So, that's the perfect thing to say. Well, Broncos should be 5-0. I'll stick to 4-1. So that Broncos should be 4-1. So we have to take them seriously. We can't take them lightly. Yeah, you say that out loud, but in your head you're going, yeah, but Russell Wilson's hurt. So let's just keep saying that, and they'll put him in there. Hopefully they won't put in Rippon, who's obviously 100%. Do I think the Broncos are going to win this game? I don't know. Because I don't know what Bronco team we're going to see. I don't know what defense of a Bronco team we're going to see. Is it going to be the team? Is it going to be a team that we scored, 16 points against Houston and won? Because or 20? 20. No, we lost that one 20. Are we going to score touchdowns? Are we going to score 20? Are we going to score 16? Or are we going to score 9? I don't know. But I dang sure know that the Chargers are not going to score 9. Well, they'll score 9, but they'll score a heck of a lot more than that. Unless our defense can be a shutdown defense. I'm not too sure they can. Because the defense has been out on the field every game for the most part. The Broncos offense has basically gone 3 and out, or interception, or fumble, or punt. There haven't really been sustained drives. There's been a couple, but they haven't resulted in touchdowns. But if the Chargers go down and get 1, 2, 3 touchdowns, that's 21 already. And what's Denver going to do? 3 field goals? Ain't going to work. I don't care if Rippon is in there. Well, I do care. But if Rippon's in there, or Wilson's in there, final score to me doesn't matter. I hate to say this, guys. I really hate to say this. But I've got to. Chargers 27, Broncos 17. That's what I got for final score. I don't like it. I don't want to say it. But I have to be truthful. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I absolutely hope I'm wrong. Absolutely hope I'm wrong. I just don't feel it right now. I absolutely don't feel it right now. Okay, guys, here comes that special news regarding my show. I am no longer doing my show on Fridays recorded. Look, kind of threw you guys a little bit, huh? Maybe. No, I'm not doing my show recorded anymore on Fridays. I am now starting next Friday, the 21st. I will be going live. That's right, guys. I will be going live. So that way I can interact while I'm doing my show with the chat, with the questions that you guys have, the comments that you guys have. I'm going to interact with you guys, make you part of the show, and it's going to be a fun time. So guys, don't miss it. That's going to be next Friday, 5 p.m. live for the very first time. If I seem nervous, guys, just don't worry about it, because I'll get past it. Hopefully I won't be nervous. It's just like recording, kind of. Any case, all right, guys. So remember that. Tune in next Friday, 5 p.m., going live, very first time on the MHRT Network. Now, some other shows before I sign off are the 5280 podcast. That goes live before that, let me back up. Monday Night Football. It's going to be the neighborhood. It's going to be different. It's going to be Mundungus Creevy and myself. We are going to be doing the, not play-by-play per se, but we are going to be commenting on the plays. And it's kind of like Manning Cast, but it's going to be a whole lot more fun and different. So tune into that. That's going to go live during the game when it starts. I believe it's 5:20, but it's going live. The neighborhood, Monday night, 5:20. Then on Tuesday, it's the 5280 podcast. That goes live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's hosted by Mundungus Creevy, his good friend Glenn Hauser, Cam, and Boggins. Like I said, that's live Tuesday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then on Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West, and that features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. That goes live every 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. That's on Wednesday. And then, again, on Friday, next week, I go live for the first time, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the MHRT Network, Broncos Breakdown live. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. The network would greatly appreciate it. I would as well. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, tell your friends. And guys, until next Friday, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Bronco game on Monday. Let's hope I'm wrong and the Broncos win. And we can all go into next Friday a lot happier than we've been the last couple of weeks. Have a great weekend, guys. We will talk to you next Friday live. Take care. Bye-bye.